right now?
30%.
Hold on. Give me 1 second.
I like the Bulls more than the Celtics.
Yeah, I can't see you.
Yeah.
Is that right? Yep. No, that's why.
Well, 4 minutes early. Why not? If you're going to hear a bunch of banging and clanging, guys, there's a lot of people here.
He goes, he likes the Bulls more than the Celtics.
So, what's up, my homie?
We can't be friends.
Nothing much, man. How are you?
Other than a house full of people, I mean, a little bit of insanity here and there.
Yeah.
I understand. I've been there myself. I had a great day myself dealing with. I shouldn't say dealing with. I was with three of my favorite people in the world, my two nieces and my nephew, and I got to deal with a 4-year-old's tantrum that I'd never seen before, so that was really fun. But other than that, life is
God
good.
is great. Beer is good.
Oh, you know, I can't even comment because my people.
And my girlfriend's in the room, too. So if you guys want to say hi.
There's no such girlfriend here.
Yeah.
Hi.
And we are live, by the way. So welcome to the Crazy Pinfall Podcast, guys. This is 8/11/2020. Got our homie here, Rob, running the show. So, hey, Hannah, how you doing? What's up, Tim? If you guys hear chatter in the background, my girlfriend's here, and, you know, everybody else in this house is here, pretty much. Yeah, there's going to be a reverb going around because my girlfriend's here with me tonight, so she's going to literally... help. But hopefully we can get this on a right foot. This is going to be very interesting and very hard to do. But what are you up to, Rob, other than dealing with what you have to?
Nothing, man. Just been watching some pretty good wrestling. I was really finally impressed with a Monday Night Raw last night, so that was good. And I noticed my background's kind of doing all kinds of things, so I do apologize for that. But no, last night it was a good show. Finally, I believe. So just been some good wrestling, and it's been needed. So. That's all I really can ask
after
for
the
right now,
last
you know?
few times that's been going on with Raw itself, it's actually interesting to see how things have progressed. And hopefully they can maintain the process of this and keeps going all the time. At the end of the day,
sure.
what will probably end up happening is that if they maintain this pattern, it'll help. Sadly enough, that probably isn't going to be the case. So...
Never know. We can just keep, just keep on keeping on. Just hope. Really, all we can do is just hope.
You know, it is one of those things. But you know, let's get right into this. We'll get going with the NXT like usual. What did you think about the Kai match going on?
You know, it was a. You're giving me Dakota Kai versus Rhea Ripley in a match. No matter what happens, as long as they wrestle more than 5 minutes, I'm going to be pretty happy. Two of my favorite people to watch wrestle. Rhea Ripley, since WrestleMania, it's no secret that she's kind of taken a dip, like as far as like popularity wise. That's not on us by any means. That's more on WWE, like background per se, like story wise. So it seems like her popularity has gone down. Not for me. I still love watching her. Dakota Kai, I have been a fan of since as long as I can remember. Like seeing like some of her matches, I really like her, and I was actually surprised that she got the win. It was a good match. Went back and forth, and with Mercedes getting involved. Once I saw her, you know, I knew the match was going to be over.
It was a really good match, though.
But overall, it was a good match. Oh, it was great. Like, for a good opening bout, it was really good. I mean, they were going against AEW's big 10-man tag match, but, you know, for a good opening match, it was pretty good. You can't argue that it wasn't good. So, I thought
Well,
that
I
was
mean, you
brilliant.
also watch AEW too, so it's like you can see which way it's going to start off on both ends.
Yeah, and like I said, or I've said before, what I do is I listen to one, and then like I have the other one on, and then I go back and listen to the other one, and go from there. But yeah, it's one of those things where I was actually paying more attention to NXT at that time because there was just so much going on in that other match, which I'll get to into which I'll get
I
into
kind of
later.
think that what's going to happen, we'll talk about tomorrow night too, um, is with these match here, it's going to set up a bunch of stuff and make it a really good, pay per view for tomorrow. For like a series to get that pay per view going for takeover, yeah.
Takeover. Yeah,
So I mean,
yeah.
Rhea Rhea is awesome. We already know this. It's just they have her on a downslope right now for some god awful reason. Um,
Well, I'm kind of curious to see if she's going to be part of the retribution. So I'm kind of curious about that. I'm wondering. I'm just that's just me kind of spitballing, just from other things I've kind of read, and um, I just we'll see, right? It's. I hope that's the reason. I hope that's the reason why. That's really all I
well,
can
I
say.
mean, you take it as it goes, right? So
Yeah. So, and with Dakota winning this, that means she will go on to face uh, at the at Takeover for the next T Women's Championship. So that's going to be a hell of a match for us at Takeover. So that's great.
yeah,
I'm all
and
for it.
Rhea showing her power just straight out the bat. Um, but Dakota slaps Rhea, and if the looks could kill, jeez, that was priceless. It woke Rhea right up. Um, I mean, what did you think about the offense that started out with Rhea? It was mostly Rhea's offense for the most part.
Yeah, the thing is when it started out with her starting like basically hot, she was taking Dakota was taking all the brunt of all the punches and stuff like that. So I kind of started wondering, I'm like, okay, well, when Rhea's taking the beginning of this match, something's going to happen in the middle of the match where Dakota comes into play and she gets to control the match for a little bit. And then right there, it was like it's kind of like a short series, like best out of three. I didn't really know was Rhea gonna get back to get the win, or was Dakota gonna get help? Because I still figured help, and the reason I say that is because they still are protecting Rhea a
They're
little bit.
very
So
protective of Rhea.
yeah, so I figured, and obviously like I said earlier, once I saw Mercedes, I knew it was over, and uh, there we go. So, but yeah, overall, with Rhea getting the taking over the offense in the match, I think that was the right call. I liked it.
I think the spot I liked the most out of all of it was the delayed vertical suplex spot in that whole thing.
Yeah,
And especially with Rhea being British, it kind of was like a throwback to Davy Boy
well,
Smith.
she's actually
Australian, right?
Australian, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So, I mean, it still gets
put
you to
another
that.
shrimp on the bobby.
Of course you had
Sorry,
to. But, I
I did.
mean, the delayed suplex was really good. A couple other moves. The face buster on the ring apron. Oh my God. That was just
Yeah,
insane. And then you have like a combination of set moves going on there with Kai trying to get her offense going. It was really good match. I mean, the electric chair on the apron, that's what I actually meant, was very deadly. Um, just so many good move sets in this, you know, so many. The scorpion kick, it made its mark, stunned Kai for a little bit. You know, I just can't wait to see what they do with this. If they do another
yeah,
round with these guys, it would be really good. But literally, these two were slugging it out. Um, the finish itself was good, but I was hoping just like having this match continue and have a clean finish instead of a screwy finish.
Yeah, and I completely get that. I mean, that's the thing about WWE. It seems like I don't know how many matches last night, just for an example on Raw, how many matches had like interference. I think it was like 4 out of 5, maybe 3 out of 4. I don't know. But it got tiring. It gets tiring seeing that. Um, it's I think it's poor booking. I think they should do other things that um I get excited with wrestling matches um, when there's a result or an ending that I don't see coming. Um, Now, granted, I've watched a ton of wrestling, so you kind of get an idea. But what I really like is to be surprised. And in this case, I really honestly wasn't expecting Mercedes for some reason. It just kind of came out of nowhere for me. But I think that was partly is I just wasn't really thinking about her. I was thinking about this match. So NXT did the right thing. They got my focus into the match, and um, I was actually, like I said, I get kind of tired of the interference, but I was actually okay with this because, like I said earlier, it helps protect Rhea.
What did you think about the spot where the Prism Trap was taken out?
It's I think it's fine. Like it didn't. Um, I just know like basically what it comes down to is I don't want my ass kicked by either one of them. So um, it it was fine. It didn't impress me like one way or another really. It just didn't do much for me. But I mean, I'm not saying it wasn't good. It was fine. I don't get, and I think that's my biggest problem is I don't get impressed as much as I used to.
Yeah, I mean, it makes perfect sense. It's just, you know, it's interesting to see that the one move that she has is just as a submission. It's easier to get out, and the one person you thought you would just tap from it, you know.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I just could not see her. I just could not see that happening. I the tap out. I didn't see it happening. So it didn't. So
Well, I mean, I thought at least, if you're gonna go towards a clean finish like that, you would actually just let Rhea win it. But I
yeah,
mean, it is what it is at the end of the day.
yeah,
So, but on the for the next match, what basically happened is Big Boy, and I've stated this on the show, very, very, very big boy, Bronson Reed. Oh my God, this is like stacked. Really? If you see me turning my head periodically, that's pretty much why.
yeah. And I'm noticing like my background's freaking out too. So sorry about that.
It's cool. It happens, you know.
Yeah, eventually I'll get it fixed.
Nothing has to be perfect. Everything is just the way it is. So,
It should be absolutely perfect because I'm a Kurt Hennig guy, or I was a Kurt Hennig guy. I still am. I still watch the matches on WWE Network, so which is only $9.99.
uh, yeah, sure.
I don't do it as well as like Stephanie McMahon does, but what do you do? But yeah, Bronson Reed. Sorry, we'll get back on point. Bronson Reed, I love the guy, and I think it's because we could be brothers based off our appearance. Um, but yeah, he is completely um, he's gotten me to be a fan of his. I really like him.
If you hear me meowing too, it feels like everybody's here.
Hmm. I can't hear anything other than you. So
Yeah, well, you know, it's one of those things. Everybody's here. um, but at least with this show, overall for NXT, it was really good.
yeah,
I mean, Reed basically showing out his power just off the bat. You know, I'm more ecstatic and excited for what's going to happen next week, though, that compared to this. Um, Thorne put out a tweet stating he was okay with everything. Um, you know, there was some elbows in there, but a tope from on the outside. Thorne had some offense going on and everything. But at the end of it all, you know, the running senton and then the shiny wizard attempt from Thorne. You know, the running senton turned around. Also, you know, the the ending was pretty good in this match. It was a combination of the big boy splash, Thorne, and Reed wins. So, I mean, we'll see how it goes. I mean, we still have a couple of weeks going on, so.
yeah, and it was a good match. It was a good match, and like I said, I'm a big fan of Bronson. All of a sudden, so I want to see what he can do.
Well, I mean, I'm hoping that he does win it, like I say,
Hmm.
and that at the end of the day, you know, Bronson has a good run for with that title, though. So,
It'd be interesting. I would like it, but we'll have to see. I mean, this could just be the beginning of a little minor push for him. So the thing that works out in his advantage is Vince likes those kind of guys. You know, the big boys, as you can tell with Otis. He likes those big guys. So we'll have to see what happens.
yeah. Hey, Anakin, do me a favor. Get people coming in. Get more everybody in. I know people pop in and out over time, so. But it's gonna be fun because at least with, you know, the way NXT does their things now compared to where it used to be, it makes it a little more efficient.
Yeah.
But I'm just excited to see what they do from here. The possibilities are endless as when it comes to this stuff. So, what did you think of this match overall, though?
You know, it was pretty good. Shane Thorne getting thrown around. He's really good, and I feel I'd like to see what he could do with an opportunity. You know, um, he's a good wrestler too. You know, so which it's one of those things where he made Bronson Reed look good, and that's really all you can ask for right now.
I mean, Reed being a star in the making, it's well worth it.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So I'm just hoping it all pays off, though.
Hmm.
What do you think? The thing with Fandango, that whole segment was kind of ugh.
It was. You know, I am a big Tyler Breeze fan. Um, and I'm honestly, Brazongo is they don't get me excited like they used to. Like I like their comedy thing more than I liked watching Fandango in the ring. I've always liked Tyler Breeze. I think he's awesome. I think he's outstanding. Um, and I would say right now, if if I was somebody that was thinking about going into wrestling training, I would want to go to his school, Flatbacks. With he has that with uh, Spears, Sean Spears, and that's how much I like him. So I really hope, um, I really hope they can do something with him because I kind of want those two to split. Um, but maybe that's their goal to be a middle of the road tag team. I guess let them work with others. I don't know. The problem with Fandango is he can't stay healthy long enough, and that sucks because I loved him when he first started. I really liked his gimmick, or I shouldn't say I liked his gimmick, but I really liked him in the ring. Um, and who would have thought that Fandango? And this is me going off a side topic, but who would have thought that Fandango would be the reason that Chris Jericho got kind of irritated with Vince McMahon and the direction of WWE, which made him go to that got him more interested in going to New Japan because originally Jericho was going to wrestle Kevin Owens, I believe at WrestleMania, but instead Vince put him with Fandango, and um, but go just per se, it's one of those things where the segment just it was nothing. It didn't do anything for me. It was just like, okay, let's get on to the next match, and that's really all I can say about it. I went off on a tangent, but um, Phantasma, we already know is gonna whoever he wrestles against, he's gonna take care of him. You know, he's gonna win. This is just I think this is just time to put somebody in front of him for a little bit and then see what he goes on to do next.
Yeah, I agree. It's about time to have something going that is not stale. And Fandango and Breeze being in NXT is like a breath of fresh air, and it'll actually help them out long term. I mean, at the end of the day, it's it's gonna be helping them long term than anything.
Yeah.
So, the Robert Stone brand, that promo was just like, eh. Priest, Lorcan, and Holland. This triple threat match was awesome. Like literally, old school, beat the crap out of each other, kind of like a throwback European match.
Oh, for sure.
The transition to start Holland up was really good. I mean, they put over Holland in this match big time.
And they should have. Ridge is really damn good at what he does. So is Oni. That's the thing about this match. All three of these guys are fantastic workers. Damian Priest, you know, he's amazing. We already know that. Oni Lorcan is uh, if they if they would just instead of and I get it. WWE's the show that gives you more story based things going on. But if you were to give me like a 205 live style match with Oni versus Daniel Bryan or Oni versus uh, Drew Gulak, you know, just Oni is fantastic in the ring. I love watching him. But Ridge Holland, I'm glad to see him on uh, here. I want to see what he does. I think he's going to be awesome. I think he's going to be really well liked. And I see him being the kind of worker that Triple H will really like, along with Shawn Michaels and the rest of the crew in Orlando. So I'm really excited to see what Ridge. I keep calling him Rich, but Ridge Holland. I want to see what he. I'm excited to watch him. But all three of these guys, I'm really cool with, and this was a hell of a match.
I think Oni, being from I've already stated this numerous times from being from where I'm from.
Oh yeah, he's a man.
Boston. Yeah, Crystal's here. And if anybody knows anything, Crystal can say what she wants. Yeah. Anyways, yeah, flabbergasted. Sorry, first time ever on this show I can say that. Oh my god. Anyways, with the control in this match with these guys, it was ridiculous. And having Oni do what he did in this match to make Holland strong, made Priest strong, and just God, I like I said, I'm a homer. This is from he's from Boston. It's not that's never gonna change. But I mean, Priest taking complete control, it it made more sense because that way you have more star power into that, and plus, if this is the way I think it's gonna happen after the announcement that happens, I could see honestly having Oni in the mix again because of um, how Loomis is not going to be around.
Yeah. And I could see that. I don't know. I the reason why I don't know about Oni is I get the vibe that we know he's a great wrestler. I just story wise, I just don't know if they're gonna go that direction. I mean, I could see it, um, but I see it both ways. I don't see them going that way right now. But like I said, you never know.
I mean, with with Oni, I'm hoping he does get into it. It
Oh, it'd be great. I honestly think it'd be great, but I think I think they have other things that I think they have other players in mind just based off the match results I've seen lately with Oni in them. You know, I think there's a bunch of guys that need things to do. So like but again, we don't know. Like with the with Retribution, if they're gonna have AEW or AEW, sorry, if they're gonna have NXT members, who's going. So I know Oni probably will not be part of that. So yeah, and your theory could be right. You know, it could happen. Um, but it wouldn't surprise me if Ridge actually gets that opportunity either. So we'll just have to go and see what happens. Really.
well, Priest took control of this completely. Um, his that martial arts style he always carries around as a tool is great. It Holland basically taking control for a good chunk of the match. Him and Oni going back and forth was great. Um, these guys were chopping the crap out of each other. It looked like at one point that they were literally having so many red marks on their chest. It looks like redwood being chopped off. It's too funny. But Priest hits the reckoning, and there you go. It it's gonna be fun to see Priest actually get an actual shot after that whole Balor match they did last time.
Yeah.
So I'm just excited about it. I I know Grimes. It,
Cameron Grimes has, and he's in the next match against Keith Lee, but
this
and I don't know if it's because of that stupid hat or if it's just him. He has just, um, I just, I have a hard time getting into his matches. It's just, I love Keith Lee, so obviously I watched it and I paid attention to it, but I don't get it. I don't know why I can't get into his matches. He's a good wrestler by all means, we know that, but I don't know if it's the whole. I don't know. I can't figure it out. Why I don't really just I I don't know why I get that vibe where I'm like, yeah, I'd rather watch something else. You know, I get that vibe.
what's up, DMGC? How you doing? But it's weird because with him, it feels so. I don't know. Something about this match in general made it feel like it was not worth it watching. Uh,
Yeah, and that's the thing. We know that this was a match that they didn't really need to promote really by any means because we knew Keith Lee was gonna just kill him. You know, we just
but but the
you
fun
had
part
to.
about it is it wasn't like that though.
No, it wasn't. That was a surprise. I mean, um, and Grimes did
He did a
well.
lot well than I thought he
Um,
would.
oh yeah, he what did he do? He Cameron he countered with the the Big Bang
Yeah.
Catastrophe, I think is the name. Yeah, yeah. So he hit that, and that actually surprised me. But and he got the near fall, but and then I never saw Keith Lee losing this match, obviously. Um, but he hit like another. He went at it really well, and then but Keith Lee like countered with the cave in, and then he hit Grimes with the Magnum or the Grizzly Magnum, I think he calls it. Um, and then I think it was a clothesline, and then the Spirit Bomb, and got the win. So like Grimes took the brunt of it by all means, and that was good. And yeah, and maybe I, I don't know, maybe it's just I've seen the same out of Grimes, um, and his character hasn't changed at all. It seems like the same more like annoying stuff. And I'm not saying like he's on Robert uh brand like the brand stuff. This like I it's not an it's more annoying than that stuff. So that's I think why I just kind of get that vibe. But he did great. He did well in the match. It's just like we said, we knew Keith Lee was not going to have any problem with him, and but he did his job. He took the brunt of those hits, and they had actually, like you said, and it was a good match.
What's up, Daniel? How you doing, man? Um, it's just one of them things where you hope for a match that Lee does will have the same magnitude. Obviously, every match Lee does is not going to have the same effect. But
Yeah,
with what he has done thus far, the bar is so high right now with him, it's ridiculous. So,
yeah,
but Grimes literally destroyed him. Um, you know, Lee was pissed off as it is, and he was trash talking the entire time. Lee looks extremely focused. Grimes with a series of strikes. This match was really good. I mean, the Big Bang Catastrophe was countered, like you said. Just the Spirit Bomb, the Genki Dama, literally was the difference in all this, and it
yeah,
it was really good. I was hoping for something different, but Regal in the end basically got everything right on this. And what I mean Regal, I mean like
yeah,
he talking about how what I mean Regal was updating about how this all was going, because he updated about Loomis right afterwards, but I'm skipping back and forth between it, so don't mind me. That the messages were sent to Cross, basically, literally. It's interesting for me to be a fan of Lee and how much he's progressed, and it's fun to see it. He goes the counter for the Big Bang Catastrophe, like you said. You know, it's just these moves that Grimes does. Now, I'm not a really big Grimes fan. We definitely know one person that is.
oh, he likes that stupid hat.
Hi, Warren. Wherever you are. Warren always says it's grime time somewhere in the world.
Yeah, it's that stupid hat. That's my only heel problem with Warren. We don't agree with that hat. That's about it. Never will.
But
But he's a good guy. Don't get me wrong. Warren's a great guy, but that hat kind of puts him
the
down a little
PC
bit.
crowd was rocking it. They were into it. A short arm clothesline series was really good. Grimes, getting some offense in it, but when he got those short arm clotheslines, everything just changed.
Yeah.
What else? It's just, yeah. It almost felt like it was just a squash match for the most part, but What do you think about the whole McAfee thing? Not like, not,
Well, the one thing before we go
well,
past it,
I'm
the
talking
one thing
about
is
the McAfee one where he was on commentary for the win, not for the men,
oh, gotcha. Okay,
for
gotcha. Yeah, McAfee. Yeah, I know where you're going with this. Um, I actually liked it. He McAfee's playing his part really well,
it's
and
funny how everything worked out when he was doing the Tegan and everything.
yeah,
So, I mean,
yep.
I'm just happy that, at this point, they could try to have something going on to make the build up for what will happen a little more special.
Oh, for sure. Yep.
So, um, what's up, Pedalron, man? How you doing? I just, I mean, we can see how things go, guys. I mean, hopefully, Takeover is going to be different. Hopefully, a lot better. But we'll see. It's just the start. We have another week to go before we hit it on Saturday. So, um, what are your thoughts on the Knox match with Hartwell? Sorry, brain fart.
Um, yeah, it was it was just I like both of them. They're both great performers. It was it felt like just a filler match by all means. It wasn't really anything that got my. It's one of those things where it's a match that 3 months down the road I won't remember it. It didn't do anything special for me. So, but they're great wrestlers. It's just Tegan is another person I absolutely love to watch. And they had a nice little exchange at the beginning of the match, and then I think Knox started. I think Knox started with the chop across the chest on Indy, and then Indy dropped her, and and it went from there, and it was good. So it started out well.
I mean, I think, and this is just my opinion, that the one thing that could come out from this match and could work is that obviously they're high on Knox. They're starting to get high on Hartwell. That will be really interesting to see if they get both high on each other.
Yeah, well, the thing is maybe I'm in a minority with this. I think Tegan Knox could be a huge star for NXT and for WWE in general. She has she has that look that just you want to root for her, and I'm anxious to see what she does. I'm very curious to see, like, after Retribution, like after they discover who's all in Retribution and stuff like that. I'm kind of hoping that she takes a jump up, depending on if anybody leaves, because I know there's rumor that Candice will be leaving. I know there's rumors that Rhea could be leaving, but it's not for sure. So with those two going, I would love to see Tegan take a step up. By all means,
Tegan is the next one to go for the title. If they do everything right with this whole Rumble on Friday, they can give it to Tegan and have Tegan go against Bayley.
That's, and I think, I wonder, did they show Rhea last night that Rhea's going to be part of that match?
I don't know.
They showed a promo, like, commercial video for SmackDown, and somebody else would probably know, but I swear I saw Rhea in that promo. So, but maybe it was somebody else. Either way, yeah, that's something I'm looking forward to on Friday for sure.
It'd be interesting to see Rhea.
But yeah, the match was good
on SmackDown.
Yeah, I could see that. But like going back to this match, it was a good match. Knox got the win with using the shiniest wizard for the pin and got the win. It was a quick match. I don't think it lasted what
Maybe
3 minutes,
less than that.
4 maybe. Yeah, maybe less. It was good. It was quick. Uh, so
So
really,
the thing is that the one thing that was most important was not this match. It's sad. It really is. The match was really good. The post effect afterwards, not so much. Like, yeah, granted for a PR standpoint, it was literally gold. And but the match itself, when it started, was really good. Um, so they were basically slugging out Imperium and Yui, and you knew they were both gonna go at it.
oh yeah,
Two great factions, two of them trying to prove who's the best. You know, Cole looking down at McAfee. Jeez. The Beth basically getting to the point where this is all just, the early notes of this is just them wanting to just leave. Like, the commentary just wants to go. But,
yeah,
the springboard on there was really good. The Dragon Screwball O'Reilly, was really good. Focusing mostly on the knee. O'Reilly is that damn good as a submission stylist. The springboard moonsault, but the match itself, there's not many notes for it, but they were all talking about how, McAfee was doing in poking and prodding and all that jazz.
yeah, yeah. They you're right. Absolutely. The pro the problem was is we knew they were setting up for a match between Adam Cole and Pat McAfee. We knew that, but the problem with that is it was taking away from this match because they would go back to Adam Cole every 15 20 seconds, I would say, on average, and I could be way off on that, but that if anything, they should have just done a double like camera, like where go side to side, keep one camera on Adam Cole and the other one on the match. It took away from them, but I think that was part of it. They what did it for me is I knew when this match was first set up, I actually thought that Undisputed Era was gonna. I really thought Kyle O'Reilly and Bobby Fish were gonna win this match, and then I noticed how they kept on going to Adam Cole, and that's when my mind started to change. I figured that Fabian and Marcel would actually get the win, and that happened because of Pat McAfee.
I think it's interesting that McAfee is playing all this out when obviously this is all stems from, what was it, a few years ago, with everything of him. What was it? He did a review show.
Yeah, but that was him doing his part. That's like he was saying what he was supposed to. The only person that really speaks his mind on that crap is Sam Roberts. And I usually don't agree with his takes, but I know he says the stuff because it gets traction.
Well,
So
I think it's mostly has to do with all the review shows that they did with the watch-alongs. And it's interesting because they were in one and then it just spoiled all the way. And now with, this match now that's going to happen, it's just, we're at this point now. He called him a little bitch and just says that he's nothing short of that. I mean, it's, yeah. I can't justify a man trying to degrade somebody just because of their profession. It's like me saying that some people, and I get this, I honestly do, because it happens to me. People degrade me for what I do for a living sometimes, and you know, it's just ridiculous. It really is. I mean, you just ruined a really good match just because of some people's insecurities, and their focus isn't on the match, though.
Yeah.
So, I mean, Cole, and they set this up with them anyways too, because Cole is literally what they say, like 10 feet away from him. You know, it.
Yeah, probably somewhere
Yeah.
around there. Yeah.
But Imperium wins, and it's sad. It really is. Now you have Imperium still as your tag champions. You know, just have to go from there. Now, who do you think Imperium's the next people to face for those tag titles? Because now it seems like Imperium's going to have them for a while.
Yeah, I'm curious. I really don't know who could battle him for it and take it away. Because there's not many tag teams in NXT. So, you know, it's if there's going to be if it's going to happen soon, it's going to be two guys they just throw together, which is unfortunate. And because you see how well tag team wrestling's doing on the other channel, and here it's not really liked, and that's yeah. But you know the I don't know who's going to take the titles from them. And you're probably right. It's going to be a while.
I mean, for them, it's becoming to the point where you have Imperium, and then there's everybody else. Now, if the only way you could do anything like this is if you bring a British team over and have them, you know, do something about it later on. For me, I really do believe that if they slap two teams together, I mean, it could be hypothetically, let's say Reed doesn't win. Why not put Bronson with somebody who can actually be very flexible, you know, very agile, you know, kind of like the old earthquake thing, but
Yeah,
it's hard to find that now.
yeah, and you know the person that could do it if they can find a partner for him is Kushida. He'd be good if they can find a partner for him. Maybe I don't really see him and Drake Maverick forming a team, but I mean, at least I don't know if I even like that idea. But if Kushida could get a tag team partner, I could see him doing it. But yeah, I don't see it happening down the road. Or I see it happening down the road, but I don't know when. Will it be before this year is over? More than likely. But I don't think it'll happen until the October takeover.
I don't think
though.
it'll probably happen for a while, especially if COVID's still running around the way it has been. You know.
Yep.
But at the end of the day, I mean, they have to be used. They have to be featured. That it's, you know, it's one of those things. It's like you have these great titles. Why not just utilize them in some way, shape, or form?
Yeah. No, I agree.
But other than that, so what are your thoughts going into SmackDown? Like, I know we're gonna do an AEW right now, but I'm saying, like, I want to get your heads up on that stuff early, because, like I said before, AEW is the #1 show, but I wanted because SmackDown seemed like okay, but Raw was good. But if you had to rate all 4 shows, 1, 2, 3, 4, which one would be your ratings for this week?
This week it would go. Oh man, I was really impressed with Raw. Like, I, God, I hate being this guy, but I if I think I was more. The thing is AEW always impresses me. That's the thing. They always impress me. So I think the biggest what did it for Raw this week is it impressed me, and they haven't done that much at all. I think I can count on one hand how many times I've actually liked, and maybe more, but how much I liked Raw. Um, I liked I liked the Raw last night more than I've liked a lot of shows that they've had recently. So this week, and it's probably only going to be this week, I would give the edge to Raw, then AEW, then NXT, and SmackDown fourth. Um, SmackDown, SmackDown is I don't get it. It's um, I am curious about like going into it. I am curious about like Braun and the Fiend with Alexa getting involved. Um, so that was interesting, but I'm curious to see where they go. But overall, the show, we both know it really wasn't that great.
Yeah. Well, you're the man of AEW, so tell me how it went.
Okay, yeah, and I'll do that one really quick for you. So the show started out with the big 10-man tag match, which I honestly thought they were gonna do that as the main event, but they didn't. So it was the Dark Order with Brody Lee, Colt Cabana, Alan Angels, Stu Grayson, Evil Uno, and Number 9. They took on FTR, the Elite, Kenny Omega, Hangman Page, and the Young Bucks. Dark Order got the win when when Brody Lee got with the discus lariat for the 3 count. The only memorable, other than that, the only thing that really caught my eye in that match was what everybody was talking about was Dax Harwood suffering a knee injury. Last week he tweeted a photo Wednesday night, I believe, of him in an air cast. Now, some people have said it could be storyline, which maybe it is. I have no idea. I mean, they carried him out, so and Hangman went out with him, like to the back. So it could be. I don't know. Either way, that was that caught everybody's eye about that match. The thing about big tag matches in AEW is it's pandemonium because you got Rick Knox, the referee, who he's like a his matches are, I don't know if you follow baseball real closely, but his tag team matches are kind of like watching Angel Hernandez umpire a baseball game. He's like but the thing is Rick actually is decent. He just lets everything go on. But it can get frustrating. But the thing is you know what you're getting, and that's what sucks about Angel Hernandez. You know what you're getting. So it's one of those things. And I don't mean to insult the man by calling him Angel Hernandez, but that's what he reminds me of, because you don't know what you're going to get. You just know you're going to be kind of irritated with it. So that's the best I can say with that. The second match of that night was the Best Friends, Trent Beretta and oh God, I can't believe I forgot his name. But the Best Friends took on Santana and Ortiz. Trent Beretta hits Ortiz with a roll-up for the 3 count. I actually saw Santana and Ortiz getting this win over the Best Friends. And it's Chuck Taylor. It was the name I forgot. But anyways, Trent Beretta, like I said, hit the Ortiz with the roll-up pin. Got the 1-2-3. That actually surprised me because I thought Santana and Ortiz needed a win more than the Best Friends. The first 3 matches of AEW this past week were tag matches. The next match was Cody and Matt Cardona, who was Zack Ryder in the WWE, and they had Arn Anderson in the corner. They defeated the Dark Order of Alex Reynolds and John Silver. Matt Cardona hit the radio silence for the 3 count, and they got the 1-2-3. So Cody and Matt get the win with Arn in their corner. And one side note about Matt Cardona, he's going to have Sean Ross Sapp's going to have an interview with him soon on Fightful. I think he might have. I don't know when he's going to put it on there, but he has an interview coming up with him, so I definitely recommend checking that out. Um, and then after that Cody and Matt Cardona match, the best thing, in my opinion, of that whole show, it wasn't even a wrestling match. It was the debate between Chris Jericho and Orange Cassidy with Eric Bischoff as the guest moderator. All three guys were fantastic, which is nothing
And
new.
Bischoff was there too, right?
It was great. Yeah, yep, yeah. So like all three guys, Jericho, Orange Cassidy, and Eric Bischoff. Seeing Bischoff on TNT again was pretty cool. I will say that. I could go over like what they've said, but I would not be doing it justice, and I strongly recommend checking it out on YouTube after this show. Don't go over there before the show is over, but I definitely strongly recommend checking that out. It was good. It was really good. Orange Cassidy um, response to one of the questions was it got me. It got me. I was laughing. I was done. So I definitely recommend checking that out. Um, so um, after that debate, you had Big Swole take on Britt Baker's hand-picked opponent, which was Reba. Swole hits Reba with the Dirty Dancing for the 3 count. That match was pretty quick, and that already gets us to the main event for the AEW World Heavyweight Championship. John Moxley defeated Darby Allin. Moxley got the win when Allin goes to the top rope for the coffin drop. And what was this was really cool too. I thought Moxley catches him in the air and then it catches him, but he puts a rear naked choke on him as well during the attempt. And then Moxley then hits Allin with a pile driver for a near fall. And then Moxley follows up with hitting Allin with the paradigm shift for the 3 count. It was a badass, like, last 2 minutes, maybe 1 minute at least match, and overall it was a good show. Each match was good. If I could rank them, I would say it's really hard as far as like moment. My favorite thing that happened in the whole show was the debate, followed by the Moxley Darby Allin match, and then followed by the 10-man tag. Cody and Matt, I knew what was going to happen there. I know a lot of people thought Matt Cardona would turn on Cody. I don't think they're going to do that yet, but I do want to say I think Zack Ryder as a heel would be fantastic, and I'd love to see it, but I don't think they're going to do it right away. But overall, AEW was a great show this past week, and if you do two things, I would strongly recommend watching the Chris Jericho Orange Cassidy debate that they had, and then probably trying to check out that John Moxley and Darby Allin when Darby Allin tries to do the coffin drop. It was pretty cool. So overall, good show, and that was about it for AEW.
I think most likely it will happen is that we'll have a bunch of great series of matches. Now, I'm not really into AEW that much, but I do think that with everything happening in wrestling in general, you're going to find a lot of good stuff coming up in the next week. A lot.
Yeah.
So, especially with how everything's lining up. I mean, you got, AEW's doing their show on Saturday, right?
No, AEW All Out is the Saturday before Labor Day.
Yeah, so basically it was just, so it's going to be a busy week regardless. So, but it'll be fun. But keep going, bud. I know you want to keep going.
Good wrestling. I'll take it anytime.
So,
but yeah, that was AEW Dynamite for Wednesday. I think 5 or 6 matches. It went by quick. So, like I said, nothing. The matches were good. Britt Baker was on my TV, so I was happy. I think she's amazing. Other than that, nothing really else to say about the show.
Yeah. Well, I mean, a lot of stuff is going to be happening and a lot of craziness is going to. I'm just hoping that, we know a few people in the community that are busy as hell, um, that they'll be able to have some time for themselves. So,
Yeah.
but we shall see. But at least right now, I mean, it makes it more fun to have all these things to keep us busy, to keep us entertained, and it's going to be
Hmm.
well worth it in the end. But like I was saying, if you had to rate all four, um, which for just for the week from going from today until Friday, what would you think it would be?
Oh, starting from like for the rest of the
No, I'm
week.
saying starting from this past Tuesday.
Oh, from my okay, gotcha. Yeah, I'd still go with Raw. I said Raw, AEW, and then uh, NXT, and then SmackDown. Um, and to be honest, for the longest time, it's been AEW or NXT with first place, and then followed by Raw at third, and SmackDown's been pretty much fourth for quite a while for me. And that kind of sucks because I like SmackDown uh, wrestlers for the most part more. They have my two of my favorites to watch, in AJ Styles and Daniel Bryan. I watch those guys anytime, and I followed Daniel Bryan for I've known his name for over 22 years. I remember when he was training with Shawn Michaels at Shawn Michaels School. He was a name that I kept on going back to. Everybody was talking about Lance Cade at that time, but the guy that would always like, from what I've read, and then just seeing like uh, the matches, Daniel Bryan, man, he was the guy that I liked, and it's pretty cool because I know just a handful of people. I shouldn't say a handful that have watched Daniel Bryan for that long, and it's hard to. It's kind of, you look at Daniel Bryan and the fact that he looks young, and because he is young still, but he's been wrestling over 20 years, and that's that's pretty damn good.
So getting into the SmackDown stuff, they did recap a large majority of the stuff. Um, so what are your thoughts of how SmackDown started? And it's different because they started it not like they have been the past few weeks.
Yeah. When SmackDown started, it was I was kind of like I was surprised because I didn't really know where they were going to go. I didn't know. Part of me actually wondered if they were going to go with the was with Retribution. Is kind of what I was wondering if they were going to go with to start the show. Um, I was wrong, but they started with Braun, right? If I
Yo,
remember correctly
Rob,
now.
Sean said your background's
Yeah,
is starting to become part of you.
yeah, that doesn't surprise me. Like I said, I got to fix that. Um, but yeah, the thing was is they were setting that up, and I'm just worried about that match. Um, is really like what it comes down to. I don't. My expectations for SmackDown have been so bad that I don't really know what to expect when I start the show. I just kind of hope WWE saves me. I ask for 2 hours of good TV, and this past SmackDown just didn't do it for me. It just wasn't the best show. Um, but what were your thoughts?
Honestly, I thought it was really good. And it's more so for what the show was compared to what it could have been. Now, you're going to be like, well, that's a double negative or a double standard. Well, the thing with me is that I could see some of the potential that's happening. I mean, they are slowly building people up, but not to the point where you feel like it should have been. The Firefly Funhouse. Now, I was trying to point this out, and I didn't have time last week, but because of the whole storms thing going on and stuff like that. But one of the thing that I was pointing is that it's this. You have a storyline that goes from a tether from one thing and then goes all the way across and then it connects into another thing. They pointed that out on this show. So
Yeah.
and I was trying to catch that before they put it out there because I figured, it one of those things that if they didn't show it at that point, it'd be worth it. And they did. They strung the entire story throughout the entire thing, and now you have the swap match, Alexa. You could even go further on this, and this is further storyline. That you go back all the way to Good Bray, like Mr. Rogers Bray, all the way until now and go further and further. You'd be able to do a lot more things now to get to this point. Now, Bray is Bray, regardless of what he does. He's a genius, and that's that. But what has to be is that if this is going to end properly, the Fiend is the way to go. Now, I'm hoping they give Braun the title. Like, give him...
You mean like he retains?
Hoping they give Braun the title just to hold on to for now.
Oh, gotcha.
Because of how this character could be now that he's quote-unquote the monster again.
Well, the thing is since that damn pay-per-view in Saudi Arabia, they have ruined the Fiend, in my opinion. I thought maybe Cena was going to save it a little bit, and I think he saw I don't know, like, obviously I don't know what happened behind the scenes, obviously, other than just what I read, but Cena got the hell out of Dodge after his match at WrestleMania. He hasn't been filming because of everything going on with COVID, so he pretty much, from things I understand and read, he has not been doing much, and I've asked Sean in, like, Q&As and stuff, and, like, doing, like, super chats, like, he was right. Why did they not just have matches in the can for John Cena? And I think when they put him, and granted, WrestleMania not being in front of a crowd definitely played a big part in this, but I don't think Cena was a big fan. This is just my opinion. I don't think Cena was a big fan of what was going on because Goldberg made the Fiend look like a chump. But even before that, you go to that first match with Seth Rollins at Hell in a Cell. They've screwed the Fiend up since the beginning. Since his match, I shouldn't say the beginning. Since his match with Seth Rollins, he doesn't have a chance. So that's, like you said, like, you want Braun to hold on to the title. I'm okay with Braun holding on the title. But I think what they need to do is they need this is going to kind of sound dumb, but the Fiend needs to act like the title doesn't matter to him. That's how I feel. That's how you could save his character but I don't think they'll ever do that because it's the WWE. But you could go that route and you could make him bigger, I think, over time. Is it too late? More than likely. But they're the writers. They can do what they want and at least try. The other thing, too, before I keep going off on that, is I don't know what Braun was doing. He seemed like he didn't even care about Alexa, by the way he did that promo. it seemed like, yeah, I liked you, but now you're with that singer, so I'm not gonna bother you. That's how it
It
seemed like to me.
it seemed like more
Um,
so like he didn't give a crap about Alexa anymore.
yeah,
But in order
yeah.
to keep Braun strong and keep the Fiend not giving a crap about the titles, they need to do something to keep both of them strong. Now, I don't know why this is, and I honestly at this point, these two are on a collision course. It was given, but give somebody else the title.
Oh yeah, and I know people. This is gonna sound really messed up, and I know a lot of people like. I hope Otis uses money in the bank, like cashes in, and I'm like, damn, that would be messed up, but I gotta say, it'd be interesting to see what happens. Like just to kind of like that part intrigues me, but I just don't see that
It
happening. Like
if it
at
if
SummerSlam,
it
it
comes down
could.
to it, worst comes to worst, that I can only see Braun being beaten down to a point, and
And that's the thing, they have to be really careful with him. Like if he gets beaten down, it it doesn't look good. Like in a way, because you look at the way I will look at it is okay. Goldberg beat the Fiend with no issues, really, and then the Fiend beats Braun with a beatdown, and Braun beat Goldberg at WrestleMania like it was nothing. So that would be very confusing to me, and I think it'd be confusing to the people that watch it, and it just wouldn't make sense. But granted, that happened what 5 months ago now already, 4 months. Um, so who knows? And like we said, WWE. I don't like talking negative all the time, but WWE, they've proven they just go with what they think works, and it's based off the viewership numbers. It's not working, but I mean, whatever. It's just I I think Braun needs to retain, but we still have this week of SmackDown, and then we still have this week of SmackDown, and then we'll have another week of it um, before SummerSlam. So they still have a chance to make this match a little bit more intriguing. I think they did a great job getting Alexa involved, and I would actually like to see Alexa. If the Fiend's going to win this match and win the title, I hope Alexa's the reason why. That's all I can really say
I think
from
if
here on out.
anything, Alexa's gonna end up doing something with this, and honestly, I hope and I pray that something good can happen. But I don't want it to be where Braun turns around and has to make him choose. It's weird. It really
Yeah,
is. Because part of him could be the monster like he is now, and then the other half could be just something different. He might say he doesn't care,
yeah.
but the part of him that actually does is just.
Do you know who does the best Braun Strowman
Who?
impersonation?
Yeah.
Sean Ross Sapp. He does a better impression of Braun Strowman than Braun Strowman does of himself. That's how damn good it is.
Except,
Like, no, seriously, listen to him. I usually crack up when I hear it, but yeah. Anyways, yeah, that just reminded me of that. Yeah, and that's the thing, Braun. They've screwed him over like for too long too. That he just. It, I'm curious about the match. They've done that for me. It's just, what the hell are they gonna do? Because nobody knows, and I don't want Otis to be. I don't want Otis to cash that in because we know he would just be a temporary champion. He wouldn't hold the belt long. I don't see that happening. I could see him losing like by the next SmackDown if he did win it, and I'm very curious to see what they do. But yeah, we'll go ahead and move on.
they have to do something where it makes, you know, this whole thing with SmackDown stagnant in general. So,
Yeah,
hell, I'd be
I gotta say it's better than the Sheamus and Jeff Hardy crap. So that's
I'd
good.
be down just to give it to Riddle at this point. Speaking of Riddle and Sheamus went. Oh my God. These 3 scenario matches with Riddle, Sheamus, I'll even go further down and go to like, the Fiend. We had the Fiend, but talking about like the whole Riddle, um, these 3 series of matches is just insane.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah,
if they're gonna
and
pull a trigger on somebody again, I mean, 3 Irish Curse backbreakers right there, back and forth. Um, you know, the Balor's 10 beats of the Balor was really good in this spot for this match. It's an extremely physical match. There's a counter after counter at the beginning of it. Riddle hits the power bomb, and then Riddle is basically really good at what he does, and Sheamus obviously does.
oh yeah,
But Shorty G comes out of nowhere, and this match is basically a no DQ because of Gable forcing his interference, which pissed off a lot of people.
yeah. And you know what's crazy is Matt Riddle is a guy that I love to watch wrestle. Like anytime, I'm a big fan of his, and I was lucky that I got to see him wrestle Chris Hero or Ono when he was in NXT. I got to watch those two work together for a house show series. They did a show in Des Moines, Green Bay, and St. Paul, and I went to those 3 shows. And each night they did, most time at house shows when you go, it's the same match for the most part that I've noticed in my history of going to them. But when I went to these 3 shows back to back to back, Riddle and Ono, they put on different. Each match was different. Like, and I got to see each guy work like a different style. And Matt Riddle, I knew he had a UFC background when he started, but when I got to watch him in person, I was like, this guy is gonna be amazing. And now that he's on SmackDown, again, most of my favorite wrestlers are on SmackDown. Like the guys I like to watch in WWE. The biggest one that I like on Raw is Ricochet, and well, that's a topic for a whole different story. But
We've already have talked
but
about
this, yeah, but this match, yeah, it was weird. But Matt Riddle, um, you got the 2 big guys in there, and you got Gable, who I don't know, damn, that guy's been. He hasn't been on TV, so it's good he's been in the gym. I guess he looked big, compared to like when we saw him against Sheamus at Royal Rumble or the pre-show. Was he the first match at the pre-show at Royal
Gable's
Rumble?
jacked.
Either way, yeah, I love seeing that, and yeah, it's great. I'm glad that Shorty G. I hate that stupid name, but I'm glad he's on TV.
Yeah, no,
So.
there's already been established this show will never call him Shorty G at all.
Yeah, and I already ruined that because yeah. Anyways, that name's stupid, but we already knew that.
But I mean, the suplex that happened too was really good. Eventually, what'll end up happening is that we'll end up getting a match between Sheamus and basically G just for everything. But
Yeah, probably. But I honestly think and I could be wrong, but I actually think they're setting up. And granted, I don't officially know, but I actually think they're setting up Corbin and Sheamus to be a team. I think that's what I see happening, and that actually pisses me off because I'm so tired of the King Corbin gimmick. But yeah, so yeah, they had their match and it ended with the DQ, and then they went right into basically Corbin and Jeff Hardy, right? Or am I skipping a
no,
match because? Yeah, I am skipping a match because Cesaro wrestled
Yeah,
Dorado,
but there
right?
wasn't really that much there.
Yeah. Okay.
Honestly, that
Yeah, because I skipped that. That's why I forgot about it.
well, the Dorado Cesaro match was just basically it was okay, but it wasn't like if it
It
was
was
fine.
it was probably the best match of the night, I
It was
think.
fine. It's just it was more so like Dorado going after a certain point. Hits plexiglass backbreaker by Cesaro, which that thing got hype, and
Yeah.
it just turned into a stunner. The match pretty much itself was just all
It was
yeah
short. I it was definitely short, and I just looked at my notes. I actually circled that as being the best match of the whole night. So,
I had it literally
huh?
just like 3 lines and that was it.
Yeah, and it started with Dorado hitting Kanhilo her Hurricanrana, and I think Cesaro countered it and went out, and I think he was went outside the ring, and then Cesaro doing what he does best, doing that was tilt a whirl. That
Yeah,
shot tilt a whirl backbreaker. I could get the name wrong, but anyways, that was really cool. And then Dorado um, kicked out of a European uppercut, and yeah, and the match was it was quick, but it was good, and that's what a lot of women like about me. I'm kidding, they don't. It's never been said before, ever. Um, but yeah, it was 6 out of, and I just looked up, and Sean actually gave it a 6 out of 10 too on his recap for Select. So yeah, we've actually both had it being the best match of the night. So that's pretty interesting.
yeah. I mean, for me, the thing that made it a lot more appearance was just that stunner.
Yeah, yeah, and that was good. That was the
Yeah,
handspring stunner. Yeah,
and then the
that was
springboard
good.
to you had the high impact backbreaker, and those are the only spots I thought that were really like you know interesting as hell.
And I could be playing, like, now that I think about it, and maybe the reason I didn't like SmackDown that much is I know Daniel Bryan's out because of the baby that him and Brie had. So I obviously 100% agree with him not being there, but I think probably with AJ not being there either, that kind of probably put a little bit of a damper on that show. But I think with seeing Sheamus and King Corbin so much of the show, I think that dropped it down for me. And that's honestly, I was going into this at first. I was kind of wondering if they were gonna go. I'm like, okay, Jeff Hardy just had a feud with Sheamus, and now they're gonna put him with King Corbin. Like, well, damn, like you can't go back to back with that. And but it looks like Jeff Hardy's not gonna be involved in that. Thank God. Um, but yeah, it was, eh, I'm just overall, blah,
It's interesting because if they're gonna put Corbin with Sheamus to make a staple, that it's basically rehashing the bar all over again.
hmm yeah. And the only thing I can hope out of all this crap, this whole whatever happens, is I hope it gives us a feud between Matt Riddle and Chad Gable. If that happens out of all this, fine. Give me, if you're telling me I can have Matt Riddle versus Gable in a feud, and I have to have Corbin versus Sheamus, as much as that sucks, I'll take it because you're giving me two of my favorite guys to watch, Gable and Riddle. So if they can do this, it's fine. I'm willing to be I'm willing to be irritated, but as long as you're giving me Gable versus Riddle on a regular, somewhat basis, do what you got to
So
do.
Alexa Bliss got her Disney moment. So if I could show my sister something, you'd be laughing about this. But she got her Disney moment though. Um, Not even kidding you. Like The Fiend shows up before the commercial break. Alexa is redoing the mandible claw. I mean, stops him halfway through and just grabs face and he backs out. Like he's scared of, the Fiend. So Braun comes out and starts laughing. If they play this way out, it's going to be interesting to see if they're going to make the Fiend the face compared to anything. I mean, they need to get away from this stuff.
So you're going back to the opening?
I'm talking about like how if you went from last week with Alexa, because the Fiend was the next segment after this, and then they basically made it so like Alexa was just he was about to do the whole thing, redo the whole mandible claw all over again and stuff, and it just turned away. It's like, and then Braun pops up, starts screaming, saying the monster's back. It's just,
Weird. Huh.
It literally gave her Disney moment just because of that. It's just like face your fear, the monster's here. I need them to do something with this other than trying to regurgitate the same stuff over and over again. But we got Hardy and Corbin, and man, I don't know what to say about this stuff. It's starting to become garbage. I mean, yeah.
Yeah, that sucked. I mean, Sheamus came out and got that match DQ'd, and
he did the same thing for this one. I mean, this whole thing had a series of DQs, and it became repugnant. It really did. It became repetitive, and then at the end of the show, you have Big E saying he's gonna give his all he can, and they do a video thing with it, and I'm just like, the video call with Stephanie was really good.
Yeah, the Zoom call, that was good. What's weird is it used to be, maybe it just shows how things have changed. It used to be like when we had the what's best for business, when Stephanie was on there week after week, it's like, okay, get her off my TV. Now when you see her, you're like, oh yeah, I think because she's like I guess she's considered a face, even though like people don't really talk about faces and heels as much as they used to. But I kind of like her in this role where she's not gonna put up with anything type thing. I kind of like that about Stephanie. But yeah, that was good. It was great how she talked to both of them, talking about how she, or like how Bailey says, sorry, I'm getting this wrong, but Sasha says Bailey like is a role model, and then that she wishes that she could be cleared for the Asuka match and stuff like that. So I really enjoyed the call like you did. They had that, and that Stephanie moment. It wasn't it wasn't. You could tell they were talking to a recording. I don't know if you noticed that, but because the timing seemed somewhat off. But yeah, it was good. And then basically Stephanie just came out and said that there'll be Bailey's contender, the person wrestling Bailey at SummerSlam, would be in the Battle Royal on Smackdown. So overall, it was a good segment. It was a lot better than that Miz segment, that's for sure.
Yeah, that's why I skipped it.
Yeah, no, and yeah, it was basically skippable. There was nothing to it.
Yeah, Joe. I'm gonna go right into like Raw right now because, well, why not? Why
Okay.
not? Biggie doing a promo previously. We were talking about that. I think it's good that he's back. Um, Joe, the contract signing with Joe was insane. Um, did you see the number? Because I'm not gonna go into depth of it. You see the number of strikes he got?
Oh God, somebody counted it and on Twitter, and they put it, and it's like, and then you just see the photo that I think Dominic posted maybe 5 or 10 minutes after, like after that match or after that segment. Holy crap, that dude, he
Yeah,
took an ass whooping.
30 kendo
Um,
sticks.
and holy crap, man, that was he looks like he'll be in pain for a few days, if not weeks, months, or hell, years. That's how bad it looked. But gotta give him credit, he looked good. And going back to Samoa Joe, damn, the guy's good on the
Yeah,
mic. He is so good, and I could listen to him talk for a good hour or two, and I wish we would have gotten going back to Samoa Joe. I wish we could have got like a Cena Joe like feud where those two were on the mic going at each other, like at least once. Like that would have been worth. I would have paid good money to see that. But that's how good Samoa Joe is. But yeah, it was fantastic, that opening match, or that opening segment. He called Rollins CrossFit's favorite cult leader. That was hilarious. That actually cracked me up because um, I have two buddies that are into CrossFit, and I like giving them crap because it's just fun to do. And obviously, I've never crossed a fit my at all, but it was funny. It's a cult joke that he made, and it was hilarious just the way he said it. CrossFit's favorite cult leader. I wasn't expecting anything like that, so it was good. And then you got um, uh, Dominic in the ring with Seth and Buddy.
yeah, and then afterwards you had Dawkins going at it with Andrade. But the one thing that was more important than the Andrade match, and I'm sorry, it was a good match. Um, it was that Zelina week. Oh my god. Holy crap. Like, she took a beating. Did you see the the whole thing that's happened this week with Zelina?
Yeah, the Twitch. Yeah, Fightful had it on their site, and I watched it. But yeah, it was cool, and that's something I tweeted that I like. I love it when wrestlers keep storylines going. Like I love it because they're showing initiative, and they know they have to with the WWE. If they keep things going themselves, it'll get talked about. That's why. Um, I mean, that's the thing. If people start liking something, it gets popular. And that was the talk of the weekend for WWE. The biggest thing that WWE needs to do on like on Fridays is they need to try to make a show where people talk about it through the week, and that or the weekend. That way, people will tune into Raw. And these two ladies did that. Like they didn't do it like SmackDown. They did it on the weekend by themselves, so they could get people interested. Somewhat. I did see some people. I don't know how many tweets, but I saw at least two people tweet that they watched Raw or some of it because of those two. Because they like Bianca Belair is pretty much everybody's. Seems like she's everybody's favorite, like in the wrestling community online or Twitter, anyways. And she's awesome, and people loved it, and it's great because they're doing it on their own, and more
I mean,
power to them.
notes wise, for Raw itself as a show, I think it's the shortest amount of notes I've written, and
Yeah.
it's
Well,
mostly because of a lot of it. It's stuff I've seen. Um,
yeah.
like a good example is that, and I'm gonna say this because, well, she's right there. But I'm slowly trying to get Crystal into wrestling, and she thinks Bianca Belair is a badass.
Oh, she is. So that's a good call.
So, I mean, at least with that start, that's a good way to start introducing someone into wrestling.
Yeah. And I know like they had some good matches, and like you said, you don't have much for notes, but like yeah, it was good, and I love seeing that, and just to go over the other things too, they're setting their own self up for success. You cannot um, you can't fault them for that at all, and that's good. So um, yeah, I thought it
What
was
did you
great.
think about all the ninjas?
That's the dumbest shit I've ever seen.
the
It really is. You know, it would be. It looks It looks like four. Usually, what they show 4 or 5 of them together. It looks like four high school kids going to a comic book convention doing a cosplay, but they're not putting any effort into it. These ninjas look like garbage, and um, I know one of them has been Stokely, so I'm not going to call him garbage by any means. I love Stokely. Um, or they need him on TV. That's the person that should be managing Ricochet, if anybody. Well, anybody should actually be managing Ricochet, but um, yeah, I hate the ninja crap. It's dumb, and Akira Tozawa, he if I don't know if you've ever seen like some of his stuff, like his matches before he got into WWE. The dude is awesome. He's a hell of a wrestler, and it sucks that he's doing this kind of crap. But it's one of those things. He's on TV, so he might be happy. And who knows? I just know the gimmick, whatever the hell they're doing, it
yeah,
sucks. And that's not on the performers. That's on the
it's a
storyline.
squash match in general, anyway. So
Yeah, and the best thing out of it was R-Truth winning the 24/7 title.
Drew's promo, the promo from Drew was really good. The whole aspect of the match with Royce and Liv, I mean, hitting that move was really good. Now people are starting to call it the Rolls Royce. Raw,
Oh,
Raw Underground 1 was really good, and then the Asuka Bailey match, setup match was really good too. I think that was pretty much the only highlight of the night, other than the Raw Undergrounds.
yeah, the Raw Underground. It wasn't this week wasn't nearly as good as last week's. But before I even forget about it, the only thing I want to complain about is the camera cuts. They got to knock that crap off. It's driving me nuts. It's driving
It's an
everybody
epileptic's
nuts. You
nightmare.
can't.
Let's just leave it at that.
Oh yeah, and well, I can't because it irritates. That might have been the worst thing about Raw this whole. Actually, it was the worst part of Raw this week. The camera cuts are awful. They miss so much of the matches that they're actually making the matches look worse. I don't know how the hell that's possible. And I know somebody said that Kevin Dunn doesn't really have anything to do with the director, which I find horse
Yeah.
shit, because he still, from what I understand, runs the broadcast side. And if I'm wrong, I am. So I'm going to look into that. But if he's still responsible, either way, everybody likes to bitch about Kevin Dunn, and I do too. But they got to stop. They got to stop that. The fact that fans are noticing the camera stuff is awful. We should not be noticing that. They start the biggest one, and this goes back to there's been plenty of times that they've messed shots up. So don't get me wrong, but I started noticing it more and more than ever with Edge at the Royal Rumble, and it just seems like they miss shots more than ever, and that should never happen in a taping. How you miss spots should never happen in a taping, and the fact that they do miss some of these shots in a taping just shows how damn lazy they are about not going back to either fix it or they just keep it in there. And that, out of everything that goes on, irritates the living crap out of me because it is not good. It makes your product look garbage. If okay, I'm done. Go ahead.
Um,
I was gonna lose it.
I mean, the only good thing about all of this was just the Sasha and Bailey thing, but I mean, we don't have to really get into it as much. We already know that they were gonna do it. It ended up being a good match, anyways. The Raw Undergrounds and stuff, and then Owens, the cannonball that Owens did was really good. But the end of that whole match up is basically it. But the stunner, after the match stuff, everybody already knows about that. That was a tearjerker in itself. But you know, it was a good week. It's just it should have been a lot better.
Yeah, it was a good Raw compared to like what it was, and the fact that I just went off on the director and the production team. And I hate doing that because I don't like going after people in general because I'm just a fan who wants to see good wrestling, and the fact that as a fan that I'm catching this stuff that the average person should not ever really notice. Um, it's disappointing because I don't get how it happens. It shouldn't happen. And who thinks those camera cuts go? And I'm going back to it. I'm sorry, but they ruined the show. Um, and that's the only thing about this episode that drove me like nuts. Like it just got to me. Other than that, if you take that out, I think it was a fantastic Raw compared to what we've seen lately. And I hope the negative gets back to WWE. And what I mean by that is I hope the feedback gets back to WWE that says, okay, we need to cut this crap out. Um, I don't know if it will because it seemed like they're like, oh, you don't like it? We're going to do it worse now. I don't know. I tweeted today like an example of myself. I was just filming my dog, and I was like, "This is what the director of Raw films his animals like," and I'm just moving my camera like crazy, and it was like 15 seconds, and it just proved my point how damn bad it was. And if you're directing a show, you don't want to be the person everybody's talking about, and that's all I will say.
Well, it's been one crazy day, dude. We finally did something we said we'd never do. 140 minutes live.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
We always agreed never to go do 140 minutes, and then we did. But tell them where they could find you.
You can find me on Twitter at Rob Wilkins, ROBWILKINS. And I will go off on production more there if you want to see it. But that's all I got, and I appreciate it. And I'm sorry we ran over time because I couldn't shut up.
It's not a problem. That you have a very personal opinion about stuff, which is fine. But I mean, that's why you're my friend, and I wouldn't expect any other less. Anyways, guys, why don't you do this? You go to Fightful.com. Just check out all the stuff. You've got Sean tomorrow with Denise talking about everything going on in the world. Listen to your boys tomorrow. You know, it's going to be a fun week. The next 2 weeks are going to be a blast. You know, hopefully everybody can get a little crazy too. I mean, but during the week, check it out. Fightful.com, Fightful Select. You can check all that stuff out too. Um, for me, more so, you need to go out and, you know, subscribe, tap the bell, hit the notifications. Let's keep going. Let's keep growing together. And then, you know, one day at a time. That's all it is. Today's been like an interesting day. So, I mean, a lot of shenanigans today. Yeah, a lot of shenanigans today. Anyways, do a good thing. Be kind. Pay it forward. Man, talk about I'm exhausted. But hope everybody's okay. And just do everything the right way. All right. I'd usually say what I usually do, but I'm too tired. All right, guys. Me and Rob are out. Be safe. Be kind. And then...